A famous singer, seeking a moment away from fame, disguises herself and sneaks into a literature symposium. There she meets a gentle, bookish man who never recognizes her. They share quiet dates in a library, and she keeps her identity hidden, claiming she works as a nurse. Over time, she falls in love and confesses her true identity. He struggles with her deception and the reality of fame, but love wins. He becomes her songwriter, and during a concert, he proposes on stage. She says yes, and they sing together as their new life begins. Chapter 1: The Disguise. I needed a breath away from cameras and endless rehearsals. My life had folded into interviews, late-night flights, and stages that glowed like distant suns. I decided on a whim to disappear for an afternoon. With a cap pulled low, fake glasses pinched at my nose, and a hoodie, I slipped into a literature symposium downtown. No one approached me. The anonymity tasted like rain. The symposium was full of people who loved words the way I loved music, with a hunger that felt familiar and honest. I sat toward the back and listened to a lecture about the poetry of science. His voice was steady. He spoke about Newton and sonnets and the music of equations. After the talk, standing among posters and coffee cups, we started talking about a curious essay on metaphors in physics. He had a shy laugh and eyes that searched when he listened. I felt drawn to that attentive calm. Chapter 2: The Library Date. A few days later, he invited me for coffee and books. The city library smelled like dust and possibility. I took off my cap and glasses, letting my hair fall like a curtain I hadn't needed before. I expected recognition, an intake of breath, a surprised stare. Instead, he smiled as if seeing me anew and asked about my favorite translations of Rilke that I watched him, puzzled, then laughed inwardly. Perhaps my disguise had been better than I thought. We spent hours in a quiet corner, trading passages and favorite theories. He was fascinated by both literature and science, quoting lines and sketching simple diagrams. By the end of the afternoon, I had told him I worked nights at a clinic, a small white lie to make my world smaller and ours simpler. Chapter 3: The Nurse I Pretended to Be. I began telling him I was a nurse. It was a role I could slip into without headline risk. Compassionate, ordinary, steady. I didn't like lying, but I hadn't planned on feeling something real. We walked through hospital gardens between my shifts, and he brought books to the waiting room. He asked about the human side of medicine. I answered with gentle stories about patients and late-night charting. He was sincere and curious, never asking for selfies or autographs. His questions were about meaning, not fame. Slowly, my evenings filled with low-lit restaurant booths, old bookstores, and whispered conversations about the universe. I found myself listening more than announcing, and every laugh, every tiny shared silence, tightened something in my chest until I couldn't ignore it. Chapter 4: The Confession. Love makes honest things obvious and honest acts necessary. One rainy evening, over coffee that steamed like a fragile truce, I told him everything. I told him how I'd slipped into a symposium disguised, how I'd started our dates as a nurse, and how I had never meant to deceive him so fully. I expected fury or disbelief, or a laugh that would send me out into the storm alone. He looked at me in a way that counted the truth slowly. "You lied," he said quietly. "I don't like lies." He told me he'd always disliked the glare of fame, the way it flattened people into images. The reveal was a wall between us. I let him step away. It was the hardest silence I had ever known. Chapter 5: The Turning Point. I gave him space, but I didn't give up. I respected his hurt and answered every question with truth. I showed him who I was off stage, the person who practices until fingers ache, the one who writes lyrics like journal entries, the woman who trembles before important choices. I let him see the cost of my life and the cost of my secrecy. One evening, he appeared at my small rehearsal space with a stack of notebooks and a hesitant smile. He said he had thought a lot about honesty and fear and recognized that hiding had been my attempt to keep something fragile safe. He admitted he had been drawn to me for the moments when I was simply myself. Slowly, Forgiveness softened into curiosity. We started writing together. He who had loved words and science now shaped them into lyrics that fit my melodies. The partnership felt right as breath. Chapter 6, The Stage Proposal. Our new rhythm carried us to the stage in a different way. He wrote, I sang, and in between we walked streets and read late into the night. On a night when the spotlight was warm and the crowd sang back my chorus, he stepped forward from the wings. In the middle of a bridge of a song he had helped write, he took my hand, kneeled, and asked me to be his wife. Tears blurred the stage lights. I said yes, voice breaking, and the audience cheered like rain. Then, as if no one else existed, we sang together, our voices braided into the same melody. It was simple and impossible all at once. A public promise rooted in a private, fragile truth. The secret had begun in disguise, but love had led us to honesty, partnership, and a song that would be ours forever. If you enjoyed this story, please subscribe to the channel, activate notifications, give the video a like, leave a comment, and share the video with friends.